Hi, I'm Theo van Dort, and thank you very much for asking me to talk to you about me, really, the experience and how inclusive video came about. My background was as an actor. I always wanted to be an actor from the age of 7 when I played my first major role as the Christmas Dragon. I had one major role before that. I was a washerwoman and a nativity, and I remember my line was, "A woman's work is never done." And I will still remember that, well, for the rest of my life. But I wanted to be an actor. I loved performing. I loved entertaining. I loved being on stage. And I realised when I left work and actually went to drama school that you've got to be really lucky to make it in theatre. And to be on stage and to actually earn a decent income, you've really got to make it. And so I thought, where else can you act and perform where you can make some money? And I thought, it's got to be TV. It's got to be TV presenting. So I ended up just doing that foot in the door thing, going and working for someone for a few weeks for absolutely nothing, working hard, going in early, leaving late, making myself invaluable to the team. And then I did a little bit of a blag when I was going to leave that company to say that I've been offered work experience somewhere else, and thanks very much for your time, because I'd heard by then that the guy wanted to offer me a job. There was no other job, but I told him there was another job, and that afternoon they offered me a role, and it was fantastic. It was my foot in the door that just got me into the TV industry. And again, you just keep working, you just do as much as you possibly can, and for as little as we were being paid back then. But it was that entrance in. Never told them I wanted to present, because the number one thing if you want to present is not tell anyone you want to present, because otherwise they think you're just another presenter that wants to get their foot in the door. But eventually an opportunity came up and I actually got to do some presenting. Unfortunately, that business I worked for was called the Money Channel, and the Money Channel ran out of money 4 months after I worked there. It was my lifelong definition of irony. And I went back to being a builder and a hod carrier, which is, by the way, what you do when you're not working as an actor and a bloke in the summertime. And I got a phone call from a friend saying they're setting a new auction channel up. Do you want to come along for an interview? I was like, yeah, fantastic. Anyway, so I went along, got the job, spent a year helping to launch one of the live rising price auction channels. And then one of those wonderful synchronicity things happened where I got introduced to a guy called Steve Bennett. And Steve Bennett and I ended up becoming business partners along with 2 other people. And that was the business back then in 2002 that eventually became Gems TV. Now, the Gems TV story is very interesting how that came about, because people think Gems TV, wow, phenomenal success. It ended up being listed on the Singapore Stock Exchange. In its peak, we did 84 million turnover in a year, made £21 million profit. However, what most people don't know about is the 6 different versions of that channel that we tried to do beforehand that did not work, that we spent a long time learning how not to do it. And that's the thing with business. You know, you think that you hear about these successes. You hear about Richard Branson, for example, a wonderful, successful businessman, but what you don't hear about is how many business failures he's had. But they often say, how do you double your rate of success? Double your rate of failure. Because you need to learn how not to do it to learn how to do it eventually. And I think that's true in every single aspect of our lives, not just in business, in family, in relationships, bringing up your kids. It's learning how not to do it so that you do it better the next time. It's all right to make mistakes. Just don't make the same mistakes. So the business came about because we were a shopping television channel. We had this fantastic model. We had a reverse price auction system. We then merged with this gemstone jewelry business from Thailand. We would show behind the scenes videos of how the product was made so that we could have complete transparency for the customer. And because the other shopping channels had already educated the customer as to what these products should be costing, we were then able to cut out all the middlemen, because the guy would source the gemstones from as close to the mine as he possibly could. We then handcraft them in the facility in Thailand. They get shipped into the UK. We'd hallmark them at the British Assay Office, the Birmingham Assay Office, I should say, and then we'd sell it directly to the customer. So you cut out all those middlemen. We were able to sell them the product at fantastic prices, but still make decent margin. And that's how that business went in 2005. I think it was to make 84 million turnover and £21 million profit. So much so that the business got listed on the Singapore Stock Exchange at the end of November 2006. I left in 2007 because I was the last man standing of the people that originally founded it. And then I had a bit of time on gardening leave, and then I was doing a couple of bits and pieces, and then I was asked to become the sales director of Sit Up TV, which is Bid TV, Price Drop TV, Speed Auction TV. So I spent some time there working with them, and actually while I was there I was continuing to do some projects on the side, and one of those projects was a friend of mine approached me to say, would I video his course? And I said, how long is your course? He said, it's 16 days. He said, it's 8 weekends, 2 days per weekend. And I said, how do you want me to video it? And he said, well, I'd like you to stand at the back with a camera and video the whole thing for me. And he said, and we can just then stick all that content online. And I was like, well, John, I don't think that's going to work. And he said, why not? I said, well, because no one in their right mind, as good as a presenter as you are, and as engaging a presenter as you are, is going to sit at home and watch 16 days of you on their computer. I said, the average person watches a video for about 3 to 4 minutes, not 16 days worth. So we decided we would crunch it down, and that's actually how the inclusive video solution came about. But I'll tell you a little bit about that later. So I've got 11 years of presenting experience, producing experience. I've made shopping television for a long time. I personally have sold hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of product. I've trained teams of presenters. I've trained teams of producers. I run a team of 150 people at SitUp in all aspects of video production. So with the knowledge that I have from having learned how not to do it, and with the knowledge of the network of people that I know, that's where inclusive video has come about.